happens in an active shooter scenario? Most people sit and wait for instructions. So we find a lot of our schools right now not knowing if they should teach things like this, if they should arm their faculty, if they should get on guard, or if they should not. They instead of making a decision either way, they say, we're going to sit and wait for someone to tell us what we should do. But there are proactive schools and proactive people, proactive teachers who are gathering as much information as you can. It's a lot easier to deal with things like this when everyone's on the same page.
I can't escape this hell. So many times I've tried.
Those of us that are able to react, that have the skills, the tools, the ability to react. A weapon, a firearm, is a tool. It's not your only tool. Okay? You might be allowed to have it. You might have one. You might personally be against having it for whatever reason. Andy hit it on the head. He said the way to combat fear is through training and understanding and being able to deal with things that arise. That's how you combat fear, not avoiding the situation. Okay? You confront it. You talk about it. You understand it. You develop plans to deal with it to the best of your ability. You do something. You react. You act. You move. I'm going to barricade myself, use this as a barricade, and come back behind here. It's going to be in a manner that I'm able to react, to fight if need be. It's not cowering down, tornado type thing coming where I'm protecting my head, all right? It's looking, watching, okay, and or listening, ready to react, to pounce, to deal with the threat as aggressively and violently as I possibly can until it's neutralized.
When do you warn people and when do you not warn them if they have weapons?
When do you warn? Oh, okay.
Yeah, when
So put the weapon down type thing, like that?
Yeah, when
you know, stop where you're at.
Stop pointing at me.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, someone comes in and they've shot a bunch of people, or they're continuing to shoot people, then you may be completely justified to shoot and kill them, right? So now you need to decide what's justifiable to you. And this is the way that I think about it. If someone is shooting at me, and they need to reload their weapon, and I get mine out, and they're not shooting at me at that moment, that first fight is not occurring. It's over, at least there. Now, another fight can occur. It can start up again. But I have an opportunity, potentially, to tell them, in whatever language I'm talking, to put down the weapon, to stop what they're doing, to get on their knees, to get on their stomach. What I do is I always maintain the ability to raise that level of force, to shoot. Even if I've decided I'm not going to shoot, I'm going to strike someone because they're moving in on me. Maybe they're not listening to what I tell them. Maybe they don't have a weapon, but they're coming in on me, and theoretically, you could be justified because you have a weapon and they could take that weapon away from you. But if you have the confidence and skills to deal with them in another way, you might strike them, maintaining the ability to shoot if you need to, right? You might push them away. You might move back a little bit yourself, all right? Normally we're attacking the attacker, attack the attacker. Best defense is an offense. Anytime you have an opportunity to warn someone to stop doing what they're doing, they may be compliant. They might do what you tell them to do. But you're doing that while you're ready to take the next level immediately if that's not the case. All right? If you see that aggression, I mean, someone looking over like this with a weapon is not the same as someone bringing a weapon to bear to you. So you always maintain the ability to shoot if you have a weapon. Maintain the ability to raise or lower the level of force. I might be shooting, as I said, but then they drop their weapon and say, okay. Now, in my mind, if I shoot them, in my mind, that would be murder. Okay? I might want to do it, and I might be completely justified to do it, okay? But I didn't have to do it at that point in time. They might then pick up their weapon, okay? It might always change. So the level of force can change at any given time, any split second. You need to be able to react appropriately. You can do that through training. let's set up a couple of scenarios. If I can.
Designed as a...
All right, everybody on the ground, sit down, sit down. Okay, come on back. Nice. All right, Andy? That's the way it should be. Big man hug.
That was good.
Not necessarily soft reaction. Medium, that was probably medium, that was pretty good. Any worse than Tito? Yeah, oh no, sure. Okay, let's talk about it. What do you think? How'd you react? What'd you do? Okay. Some folks didn't get out, but they went to cover immediately. Okay, and Andy's got a weapon. So. Now we get into the realm of ATG. Folks, we aren't the ones that necessarily run away from the situation. We're the ones that are the responders. Because by nature and by training, that's what we're doing. We're training ourselves to be able to react and overcome bad people and bad situations. Alright, so he found cover, took his wife, found cover. You carrying concealed too? No? Okay. So they went back there, and he's gonna. What was your thoughts right there? First, probably getting out of them.
Get her back out of the way, and then I just put my head up long enough to see where it was at. And it would have went on the background.
Have two shooters. Okay, guys sitting here. What were your thoughts? And I mean, obviously, good reactions. Very nice, very quick. I think we got maybe some good video of you coming in. Okay, but what were you thinking? Go for the weapon. What were you thinking? Were you expecting them to come in that door? But it was a possibility, right? So, and you were obviously not necessarily prepared, but reactive, okay, which was nice. Because two shooters, not just one, okay? Now think of this. You spend tons of money putting Mylar on your windows and bars and stuff. Okay, it can prevent a few folks from doing what they're going to do, but a simple scout around of what the situation is lets them bypass most of that. Okay, if it's their first time coming to a place, that might stop or slow down any type of progress. But if they've been there before, if they are a disgruntled employee, if they are a former student, okay, and they've seen that stuff, it's going to be very easy to navigate. And it's going to be very costly to do that type of security, and it's not nearly as effective as training to be reactive, as reacting, getting out of the area. All right? Guys, what did you guys do? Get out.
I tried to control the weapon.
Okay. You're on Kevin here. Matt?
I just saw, as soon as I saw the weapon, I just went for it.
Okay. Okay. Jared, were you on that pile too? Okay, very good. Okay, John?
I started in, but then they already got the other side.
Outstanding. And here's the thing too. You got a guy that is capable of dealing, in his mind, capable of dealing with the threat, or willing to deal with the threat, but other people have it under control. Okay? Same thing in the SEAL teams. Every one of us come in and we're able to deal with a threat, but there's other things to be done. And so if we're all trying to deal with it, okay, if someone else has it, you've got to let them have it. Let them have control. If you can assist and are needed to assist, then absolutely by all means do so. Did anyone take weapons away from them, or did they have good grip? Okay, took a weapon. What'd you do with the weapon? Just took it?
Just this kind of situation, if there's anybody else coming in.
Okay, held it away. It might be a weapon, since you're familiar with weapons, that you can utilize. All right? Oftentimes we take weapons off of people over in other areas, and we're not familiar with those weapons, so we don't clear and safe it over the contact area at all. We set it outside the contact area, or hand it off and outside the contact area in a safe area. It's then dealt with clear and safe, right? Well, whatever capacity it's in, normally ready to fire, that's the way we take it as safely as possible away from, so that that person can't utilize that weapon again or get control of it.
First came to the door, just how quickly the tunnel vision came into play. You were the first person that I saw coming in, but as soon as everybody reacted, I lost every target that I had. And, I mean, just like that guy was saying on the last video that Adam showed, how a quick reaction, how quickly that confusion sets in. Something like that. So, yeah.
I can tell you right now, it is extremely easy to come in this room and start shooting people that are not reactive, are unarmed, aren't doing anything. It's very easy. But in the SEAL teams, we have people that make it through SEAL training, get assigned to a SEAL team, and get kicked out of the SEAL teams because they're not able to properly come into rooms like this and deal with things, shoot and non-shoot threats appropriately. Okay, so as Andy said, if things are moving, if things are happening, it is very difficult. If you are engaging, if you are taking down, if you're getting out, okay, it's not, even for very well-trained individuals, it's a difficult thing. So knowing that gives you an advantage in knowing that you've got to move, you've got to go. The situation is always going to dictate. The situation dictates violence of action. Let's do one more scenario. Anybody else have something they saw, wanted to talk about it? Everyone got out fairly quickly, but you see, there's even a lot of doorways here, but there's a lot of people in here. All right? So you have to also realize that if you feel like you have to be the first one out, and everyone else feels that way, then you might all get jammed up and stopped up. So you're going to have to be heads up enough to give if need be. All right? And another thing I want to say is running for your life, sometimes, as we've already established, might be running toward the aggressor. Running for your life isn't always running away from the threat.